Welcome to a Sunday evening episode where we're going to recap the men and women season, maybe do a little football talk. Who else knows whatever our discussion will come up with tonight? Got four of us here, so this could go anywhere tonight. But I just wanted to say during the live intro there, I saw Rick dancing, so Rick must really love that surfing music.
Surfing country.
Oh,
I'm sure
okay.
it was.
All right, guys, taking care of business first. We want to make sure that you hit that subscribe button. It's right there in front of you. Hit the like button. It's also right there in front of you. You got two things out of the way. The next thing, all you got to do is share it and comment. All right, guys. Should we just start with the most recent game, the men's game? Talk briefly about the Illinois game. And when that horn went off, I said in the group chat, I think it was an Illini fan trying to rig the game.
That was forever.
Yeah.
What was the final problem? Did they ever say?
I don't know. I didn't ever heard. But I think it was kind of crazy and kind of cheesy in an Elite Eight game to be using a fake air horn.
Yeah. Didn't have much other choice,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Did that happen in the first half or second half? I've forgotten all about
First
it.
half.
First half.
I think it was about halfway through, wasn't it? Or
Yeah.
17-minute delay, I believe. Okay. Well, guys, I will admit I did pick Iowa to get to the Elite Eight and not any further. But we were supposed to be playing Vanderbilt, not Illinois. But here's the thing I was thinking about today after the season. For 35 minutes, Iowa was in this game. They either led or they only trailed by a point or two. Mm-hmm. And for 35 minutes. In that last 5 minutes, they just seemed to give the game away. I'm not sure what happened. Did any of you guys see what the difference was, why we stopped making shots and all of a sudden
legs?
I'd say it's NBA players.
That too.
Oh,
you mean the foreigner players from the European, 5 of them?
I mean, it's pretty obvious. Pretty obvious. You know what happened? We got out rebounded 42-15. They got twice as many offensive rebounds as we did defensive rebounds. You cannot. It's hard to rebound against guys that are 5 inches taller than you and weigh 80 pounds more, and you can't guard them inside. We didn't have anybody that could guard any of them big-bodied European guys inside 8 feet of the basket. All they did was back you in, bumping you, turn this way, turn that way, and they're talented. That's why we lost. I mean,
I don't understand why that's not a foul. Keep bumping people like that. That should be a foul. That's my space. I'm a defender. It's my space. I own that space. You need to shoot around me. You don't need to be bumping me off my space.
I think it's a foul unless we do it.
Yeah.
If Ava Hayden or Hannah Stolke does it, I think it's all right. But anyway, Illinois was just so big. But you guys go ahead with your opinion. So
I just thought they looked tired at the end. Their legs, they had problems moving the guys around. They were sapped. Is the best way to describe it.
Well, they played 8 guys. Anybody understand why Fulgaris the guy who virtually won the last 2 games that we previously played, why he only had 9 minutes in the entire game and 0 points.
Because the guys playing were better than him.
Ben said he wasn't playing good.
What?
That's what I read too.
How do you know in 7 minutes?
It's like where we have games where Sage plays 5 minutes. They come in the game, and if they're not playing the way Ben wants them to play, Sage sits on the bench.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, it's like, okay, he did have 2 turnovers in those 9 minutes. Actually, in 7 minutes, he got 2 minutes later in the game, but he'd already had 2 turnovers and 0 points. I get that, but 2 turnovers isn't the end of the world, you know.
I don't know.
I mean, I think what the problem is Fulgaris didn't have his mother and brother in the stands this time. Like
brother was there.
His brother's there, yeah.
Nacho was there.
Nacho was there? Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I thought only Houston's brother was there.
No.
Okay. But anyhow.
Nacho was there. He was real popular with the Iowa fans the night before.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that day his mom just couldn't be there. So but
yeah, maybe that's what he needed though, his mom in the stands, because man, I don't know that he played 2 better games all year than the 2 games that he virtually won for us. You know.
Well, he had this. He had confidence in his shot, and he knew that give me the ball, I'm gonna do something about it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I don't understand. You didn't give him enough time on the floor yesterday to get going. I mean, does Ben need results right now when he gets out there? Does he have to go out and hit his first 3 that he hits so he can stay on the floor? Does he have to not turn the ball over so he can stay on the floor?
I don't know. Maybe we better tear up that new contract for Ben then. I don't know.
How did you do the first time they played?
What's that?
I don't remember.
I'm curious.
I don't remember either.
If he had a bad game that day and Ben saw the same things happen and said, okay, no, we're not going this way. Because if he can't create a mismatch against those players that he only has, I mean, you're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
But
I mean, here we got Isaiah Howard out there taking 3-point shots that he's not capable of making. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yet we don't bench him.
I don't know. I just trust Ben. You know, I figure he knows his players. He probably seen Alvaro play for 7 minutes, and he thought, "Oh, we got the bad version. We got the bad version of Alvaro today." Here.
Right. My thought was could have been matchup opportunities. Maybe Ben saw a matchup with Alvaro against one of the Illinois guys and thinking he might have gotten outmatched or outplayed, or just, wasn't matching with his 5 guys that he had. Unlike Nebraska having 4. Sorry, I've got to throw that out there.
Yeah. Well, it ain't like we played bad against Illinois.
No, we were in it
we were probably ahead, I would guess, 85% of the game.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I said.
The big guys for Illinois just took over. That's the way I've seen it. But I don't know. I don't think there's any controversy.
Right.
If you had told me at any point this year that I would be 35 minutes in the final 8 game for the final 4, either ahead or tied or down 1 or 2, Jesus, I go, what the hell, really? What happened? I mean, what really happened? And they beat the number 1 seed, they beat the 4 seed, they beat the 8 seed, so they won every game was a higher seed. I mean, there is no joke in this. No, get lucky with someone knocking off the big dogs.
Yeah,
they did on their
my
own.
buddy said that the analyst after the game when they were talking about it said that in the last few minutes of the game, Illinois changed up their defense. And, of course, early in the game, they were giving us the wide open 3 shot. They shut that down.
Well, because I think they knew we would try to go inside, and all of a sudden we get blocked, or offensive foul, or foul on us. Never a foul in Illinois. And then go back the other way. They answer with a 3 or an and 1, or they get the extra possession, offensive rebound. So
Jay Billis, who's probably the analyst that you're talking about, in the pregame show earlier this morning, before any of the games started, he said Illinois made an adjustment in the second half. Iowa was killing them with 3-point shots. And they noticed that Iowa was, if they did drive, they weren't going to score because they were so big inside. So
Right.
they decided to pressure them on the outside and make them drive. And
right.
Iowa just, Tavian Banks drives against a 7'1" guy, he ain't going to score.
No.
So that's
A
probably
lot
the
of those
analyst.
guys-
That's
yeah.
probably the analyst that you're talking about, Jay Billis.
Yeah. So here's the deal, okay? Manuel plays 26 minutes, 4 points. Koch plays 39 minutes, 6 points.
Yep.
Sturts plays 40 minutes, 24 points. 4 for 11 on his 3-point shot. So he's still not hitting them very well.
That's almost
Banks,
40%.
37%.
all
Yep.
right. Banks plays 25 minutes, only 5 points. Combs plays 24 minutes, only 5 points. Figueres, 9 minutes, 0 points. Sage, 10 points and 18 minutes, and 19 minutes for Howard with 5 points. I just want to say that if you're going to pull Figueres out there for 2 turnovers, then you needed to pull Sturts because he also had 2 turnovers. And the thing is Figueres had no
What?
fouls.
Say that again. Say that
Okay.
again.
That's crazy, to say that Sturts had 2 turnovers in 39 minutes and Figueres had 2 turnovers in like the first 5 minutes. That means they're even on turnovers. That's like goofy to say something
You're
like
comparing
that.
different fruit right now.
Yeah.
All righty. Okay, I see your point.
Yeah. And if you take Sturts out, there goes most of our scoring.
Yeah, let's bench Sturts,
But yeah, what's bench
The good news is, Dean, you don't have to watch Sturts ever play for Iowa again. So there you go.
I'm not mad at Sturts. I just, I was
It
just trying to
didn't
make sense of
It
this.
didn't make any sense what you said,
If
But-
Fulgaris would have played 40 minutes, he would have had 12 turnovers.
Yeah.
Based on his stats.
against Illinois' defense. 100%.
So
Well,
100%.
I don't
Anywho,
I don't know, but
yeah. Anywho,
I'm just saying-
Wagler hurt us.
I'm just saying I trust Ben to coach the team.
Second.
I don't think there
second.
was any controversy about the game.
Yeah.
We
Well, like I
played a
said
really good
earlier,
game.
I honestly didn't think we were going to win the game. But when we hung in there for 35 minutes, I thought, we got a chance. We could really win this game and go to the Final Four. And it would only be the second one in my lifetime. Okay? For a couple of you guys, you've never even seen one.
Yeah, would have been my first one.
Yeah.
But
I
I'm gonna say this. It was an awesome year.
Yeah.
With Ben coming in with all those transfers,
Mm-hmm.
except Coop, but watching Coop develop, he's gonna be a scorer.
Yeah. And to think we might have him for 3 more years if the NBA don't come calling sooner.
The one thing I'd like to point out is, me and Dean seen him go to the Final Four once. If Lute Olson would have stayed at Iowa, we'd have went to more Final Fours and we'd have won a national championship. He went and did it. He did it at Arizona.
So what you're saying, all those players he recruited to Arizona, he would have recruited to Iowa.
He'd have had different players.
Right.
Right. He'd had Jimmy Jackson and some of the Clark Kellogg and people like that, But what I'm saying is Ben McCollum's going to take us to a Final Four. I think Ben McCollum's going to win a national championship because Ben McCollum ain't going no place.
I agree. He ain't going nowhere.
He's going to
get up there. You can't get up there on that podium and say, "This is my dream job. This is where I want to be." He goes, "I just never thought I'd have an opportunity so early in my career," or whatever he called it. I can't remember that early in his career, but.
And this week his new contract's going to be announced. They're going to announce it. If people don't know that out there in radio land, and
by the way, when I put that out there for my source on my Facebook page, I said, according to a good source, you guys are looking at the source.
Well, I'm not the source. I don't.
You were the source for me.
I'm the one that told you that, and
that makes you my source.
Yeah, but whether it'll be announced before Kirk's news conference on Tuesday or when, I don't know. Don't matter. But I'll guarantee you, Ben McCollum, this is not going to be his highest finish in the NCAA tournament, because we're all going to donate to the Swarm, hopefully.
Yeah.
And he's going to have a lot better roster. They asked him on his radio show or his talk show, whatever, well, what about replacing Bennett Sturts? And he says, well, I've done it 5 or 6 times before. I've replaced my point guard. I've been a coach for 15 years, He's not worried about it, and I ain't worried about it either. I'm just going to trust in Ben. So.
Yeah, the thing
He's got one recruit coming in for next. He's got one recruit coming in for next year. He might get another. So what do we need to pick up in the transfer portal? We're only losing 2 players, Banks and Sturts.
Well, he might. It might mostly be high school kids that he gets. Mm-hmm. That's what he wants. He's got Harris, the 6'8" or 9" wing forward guy from Washington, who's a top 60 player or whatever. He's got Donovan Davis from Wisconsin high school visiting, what was it, the 13th, 14th of April. He's from Wisconsin. All them Wisconsin kids either go to Wisconsin or Iowa State.
And he's got Iowa State on his visitation list.
Yeah, the day before, I think, that he comes to Iowa. But this is different now. Yep. Ben will probably, if Iowa fans are as smart as I think and as excited as I think they are, Ben's going to have some money. And that kid's seen what Iowa did this year. And he's seen what Wisconsin did at the end of the season. And then the other kid is Jaden Kuhn from Storm Lake, Iowa. He's Mr. Basketball. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but he'll probably become one. He's very much like Tate Sage, built like Tate Sage, same size, maybe an inch taller, can jump, and just a tremendous player. Those 3 guys might be 3 guys they get. Davis is like a 6'5", 6 guard.
What about height?
I don't know. That would have to be a portal guy. It's like Caker pointed out that actually Peyton McCollum, really, they had him on scholarship this year, but he's not a scholarship guy. So you don't count him. You can only have 15 guys on scholarship and on the roster. You can only have 15 on the roster, so Peyton will be the 15th guy on the roster. So I don't know. They need a big guy, and they need a point guard. But I'm just saying those 3 high school guys are possibilities. I don't know.
Is anybody on the current team that's eligible to come back next year, is any of them possibility of leaving?
I don't know.
Well, Cale Combs is worth keeping.
100%.
I want to keep Cale. I like him. He's been a decent backup point guard all year.
I was nervous at first. What happens if when Sturts leaves? But watching Combs the last 5-6 games, he really improved his game.
Yeah.
So I'm
agree.
happy there.
I think Ben wants to keep every one of his guys.
Oh, I believe that.
I think he pretty much said that afterwards.
He's not going to chase anybody off. It's not going to chase anybody off. I think. I mean, he's happy with these guys. He recruited them.
Yeah. My thought is this, and I've been I don't know if you guys watched a little bit of the post game of what Bennett said. He said if you wanna play, come to Iowa. If you want to be a good point guard, come to Iowa. If you wanna be under Coach Mack or listen to Coach Mack, come to Iowa. I listened to that quite a few times. You know, if you believe like I do, believe in the faith, and he goes, come to Iowa.
So who said that?
Bennett did on an interview.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Alvaro said how much he loved. He said he's never been on a team like this. Listico I think it was Listico that was interviewing him.
Oh,
And he
Chad,
he was trying to egg him on, like, "Are you happy? You don't even start."
I love Chad. He's so funny.
I thought, oh, I don't love him. I thought, what a dumb interview. And then he said, "Are you staying here?" And all this stuff. And Alvaro looked at him like, "Are you crazy?" Asking me questions like that. He goes, "I love it here." And he said, "I have never been on a team so close in my life." But I didn't care for the interview. But
I didn't see the.
Yeah.
I didn't see the interview.
Guys, I'm just going to pause you for a second. I want to answer Terry's question. He says, "Are you all not doing it on Facebook?" Hey, Terry, it's because Hawkeyes, who we used to do live broadcasts on their Facebook, has let their license go. And so they have to renew it in order for me to get back on their page. I'm working on figuring out how to get mine on there. So far, it would only allow my personal account on Facebook to be linked to StreamYard, but not the Talking Hawkeye ones. And I'm trying to get that fixed. Okay, I just wanted to answer that, guys. Thanks, Terry, for watching, though. I appreciate you watching.
The other question was Tavian Banks said he didn't think he had another year to come back, but he did say last night that if I do get a year to come back, I want to come back. He said, I love being a Hawkeye like that. So
yeah. Okay, cool. I mean, I think the fans would welcome him back with open arms.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, guys, let's face it this way. Okay, when we first started the season, I want you guys to be honest. I'm gonna tell what I think, and I'm gonna ask you what you guys thought. Okay, I had no expectations on this team because I did not know if the Drake players that we brought in and the youth that we brought in would translate to the Big Ten right away. Okay, and so about, I don't know, I would say not quite halfway through the season, I decided after watching our team that they were going to go 10-10. I want to say I was right, 10-10, and I predicted that just about, I don't know, a game or two short of halfway through it. But I had to see what this team could do first and what they were made of. And I wanted to, before I could go, say anything else. But I actually, I don't know how many people had expectations on this team, what they were, but mine were none until about halfway through the season. And I just want to ask you guys where your heads were at with each one of you. I want to start with Rick first because he's not saying a lot tonight. Where you thought this team might be. And of course, I want to preface this by saying you are a Drake fan and you got to see these guys play for Drake for 1 year and make the tournament and win one game in the tournament. So I just want to see where you thought.
I thought 18 to 20 wins was a likely story for them. I didn't know because they had no size. Yeah. And the fact is they played beyond their abilities. The sum was larger than the whole, as they would say. Did I think they would? Well, first off, I thought Big Ten, 10-10 was a doable thing. I mean, once again, wasn't going to have them. I didn't know. But they're good players. They're just undersized. And as long as you can keep doing what you need to do over and over and over, which they did for most of the season, you're going to have a good year. He's got a hell of a system. He really does. He knows what he wants. He knows who to do what, when, where, how, and why. And they're usually there. And that's the winning plays, as you would say. But I never thought they'd go. Well, I said it to myself, if they can duplicate last year, win the first round and lose in the second, good year. Anything after that was just gravy.
Yeah. I wasn't honestly, I wasn't even sure if they would make the tournament. I know that they were pretty much locked all year. But when I said 10-10, I just said, well, we'll see if that's good enough to get them in the tournament, and it was.
Yep.
It was, and they proved that they belonged in there. They won 3 games in the tournament. So they proved that they belonged, that they were there.
Yeah.
So I would say they exceeded my expectations for this team. Hey, Kyle, give us your opinion. What you thought we were at the beginning of the year?
Well, a couple of years ago when Coach Mack was still coaching at Northwest Missouri State, they usually play the Division II championship before the Final Four. So a couple games, I just started watching. I'm like, wow, these guys are tough. Man, they didn't give a crap who was on their team height-wise. They just played under Coach Mack, and he knew what to do. Why? Because Coach Mack's a winner. Coming into this year, and I agree with totally what Rick said, with no height, I was thinking, what everybody else was thinking, maybe 10-10. I think that was a really good guess. But when you don't have height in the Big Ten, that kind of hurts you a little bit. But with Iowa, I think it gained more confidence in those other guys. Hey, we might be undersized, but we can sure as hell get to the rim. We can knock down threes when it counted the most, and at least try to get to the free throw line. Hey, and maybe out rebound a team or two. And who gives a crap if we got it out rebounded? Look how far we went. They exceeded almost everybody's expectations, to be honest.
Yeah.
They did. For me, it was awesome.
Yeah,
I
and
haven't seen an elite game like that in a long time at Iowa, to be honest.
Yeah. And you think about it, we probably came within 5 minutes of going to the Final Four.
And having a second half like that, but one of the turning points was that stupid buzzer stuck. It shifted the momentum for Iowa in the first half, and then in the second half, we couldn't hit nothing, 1, and 2, all the fouls were all on us.
Yeah.
The fouls.
But hey, the first half they were all on us. The second half, they piled up more fouls than we did the second half.
And the thing is, it was like this. It was like very ticky-tacky.
Yeah.
But again, I am proud of this Iowa team because they grew confidence. They grew confidence in themselves, but they also grew confidence in Coach Mack. And I think every Iowa fan out there watched the game, wasn't a fan until maybe after the second round into the Sweet 16, started being a fan going, holy crap, this guy can coach. Holy crap, these guys can play some ball. You guys know what I mean?
Yeah.
Totally.
They grew in love with Coach Mack going, okay, we can see what Iowa can do on the football field. We also can see what they can do on the baseball diamond, on the women, for the women too, but we also know what the Iowa can do in the classroom and being all academic. And so it was an awesome year. It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
It was a great year. Kelvin, you finally get to say your piece.
The expert.
I am no expert.
I love giving you that. I love saying that to you.
I knew Fran was going to get fired during the season last year, and
we all knew that. Everybody but Fran knew that.
No, you probably did too.
It was because of attendance and donors. You know. Fran had a fine record at Iowa. But anyway, what was I going to say? I knew during the season there was one coach I wanted at Iowa, and that was Ben McCollum, because I kept reading what was written about him. The head of the Boston Celtics, what's his name? The guy that used to
Brad Stevens.
Brad Stevenson,
He used to work with Beth. He said he's the best coach in the country. That's good enough for me. I had predicted that he would have a better than a 500 record in the Big Ten. And I think he would have if they wouldn't have had that week and a half of being sick,
True.
We only had to win one more game. But my expectations for the NCAA tournament was we're going to win one game. I didn't care. I knew we were going to win one game, and I thought that's it. Because I knew we had. He did this with the worst, one of the bottom 2 or 3 rosters in the Big Ten. That's how good a coach he is.
Yeah.
And
I mean-
I knew when you got in the NCAA tournament, he would probably win the first round, and then he'd go up against NBA players. And
Well, he'd go up against
sure
Florida. Number one, Florida.
That Florida game was the most
Oh.
miraculous win in the
Oh.
history of NCAA basketball for Iowa. None of Lute's Final Four run
I
compared
would,
to it, or
right.
nothing. But Florida was one of the top 6 teams in the country.
Yeah. Speaking of Lute Olson and Final Four teams, the announcers, did you guys catch that? Lute Olson was the last one to take Arizona to a Final Four. He also took Iowa to a Final Four. How crazy is that when you think about that?
Lute was a great coach.
Yes, he
ESPN
was.
ranked. ESPN ranks Lute. They did a special about the all-time coaches in the college basketball history, and they made Lute number 9. You know.
All right. Well, when they redo it and re-rank them, Ben McCollum will be even higher. Okay.
He might be.
Hey, Terry says, I want to read this, guys. He's very proud of his
Rick got
wife.
shut down.
Okay.
No, I want to read that message. Yeah, well,
What's
before
that?
too. Yeah, the message
I'll get that to you guys too. Terry says, I do have big news, not Iowa related, but my wife is a Boilermaker. She's pursuing a degree in cybersecurity. Thank you, Terry. Hopefully she helps make us rich.
Congratulations.
Okay, so is this the one you
nice.
guys were talking about? How is the Dean Amin, Kelvin Killer, Kyle Killer Jr., and Rick doing? And then he says, I'll have to come up with a nickname for Rick.
Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam.
I like
Yeah.
Important
that.
to see what it is.
That's his profile picture on Facebook.
It is.
I can never remember his name, but I just see that profile picture all the time.
I want you.
I want you.
Yep.
All right. Okay. So we don't have a schedule for next year, so we're not going to talk about predictions and stuff, and or anything like that about.
Nope.
But I will say this: I would expect more of the same out of this team next year. The thing is we do have to replace Sturts, somebody who can control this team and take over. We'll see who that's going to be, whether it's a transfer portal person or somebody currently on the roster or somebody coming in.
Have any of you seen video of his kid playing in Iowa?
I have
even
not.
I have not.
No,
I can't find it.
I just imagine he's a version of his dad, very competitive,
First team all state.
and he probably knows the Iowa system better than anybody except Bennett Sturts.
You
So.
too, Terry.
What did she say? He said,
Have a good night.
Terry's a he. He just said,
okay.
"Have a
Have a
great
good
night,
night.
gentlemen." I think he's done
Okay.
for the night.
Okay.
If you guys remember right, he's our resident UCLA fan that we had
And
on the show one night.
Okay.
The thing you have to remember about McCollum's system
Mhm.
is he's got a bunch of facilitators, on the out there around the 3-point line. You don't have to have a traditional point guard,
Right.
So Tate Sage could become your facilitator. Cooper Koch could become your facilitator out there at the 3-point line. Jurok's supposed to be a facilitator in a European mode if he matures and learns the system. So
I think he will. I
we'll
mean,
be
he's shown some flashes of some good things this year. So I fully expect that he will be getting a lot more playing time next year.
A lot of games, Alvaro will have like 4 assists. Tremendous passer.
Oh, he's a great passer. Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So what does Cam bring to the team? He doesn't score a lot. Is he just mainly a rebounder and a shot blocker?
Great defensive player.
Okay.
He's the glue.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't know that. This is hard for me to believe, but he says that Cam doesn't want to score. He doesn't look to shoot ever. And you could have fooled me. First of all, I thought every basketball player wants to put that ball up there and score. Second of all, in the one game against Florida, which I thought he was going to blow it for us with all of his easy misses, he was definitely trying to score.
Yeah. He takes it to the hoop.
Yeah.
Learn
He
to
can be-
shoot
Cam's a
free
good
throws.
passer.
He'll learn to shoot free throws. He'll score a couple, 3 more points a game. But
Yeah.
he dunks a lot and
Yep.
Yeah.
Gets to the rim.
very
He's a good
very
passer.
smart player.
Yeah, he's a good passer too.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be interesting to see what next year brings. Without Bennett and everything, and see what happens. See if he changes things up a little bit. I do know you got to play some defense, and we know that Trey Thompson can score, according to his teammates. It's too bad we didn't get to see that this year, but we will next year. And so we don't want to forget about him. He could be a potential starter next year.
Now, my other question is this: with a big guy,
Mm-hmm.
I know you guys saw that McDermott retired from Creighton.
Yeah.
Now, they spent well over $1 million on Owen Freeman, who is 6'10", 6'11".
Yeah.
Do you think he would be considering to come back to Iowa?
No, and I don't think they would want him back either.
That's what I kind of thought too, but you kind of find a big guy down low, and Owen did a really good job.
He never played defense, and honestly, when you look back on it, he wasn't that good at Iowa. He really underachieved at Iowa, and what happened at Creighton? Is there more talented players at Creighton than there was at Iowa? Because he didn't play much at Creighton.
Not at all.
I got 2 points on Owen Freeman.
Okay, go for it.
Number one, if he ain't good enough for Ben McCollum,
That's
I don't want him.
Right.
Yeah.
Number
That makes
two,
sense, yeah.
Number two, if he ain't good enough for Taylor McCabe, the hell with him.
Oh, I know about that one.
Yeah.
Taylor
Did Taylor dump him, or did he dump?
Taylor got rid of. Oh, she got rid of him.
Really?
Not the most.
did not
not
know
the
that.
most. I hope nobody sues me, but not the most ambitious character in the world.
Yeah.
So
there is. Speaking of boyfriends and stuff, Tegan Mulaney's boyfriend died in a car accident a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how she's taking it, but I'm sure she's not taking it very well. They were planning a trip to Italy in a couple months. I'm sure probably after they got their finals done. And so, I don't know how that's going to affect her with basketball right now, but I'm sure the last thing she's thinking about is transfer portal or whether or not she should stay. I'm sure that's not on her mind at the current time. But I just want to put out there that if anybody from Mulaney's family or friends or anything are watching, that we, our hearts go out to her, our prayers go out.
For sure.
But anyway,
I'm sure Taylor is devastated. So
why Taylor? It's Tegan.
Tegan, I'm sorry. I'm sure Tegan is literally devastated. The way
that girl has so much potential.
The way her mother wrote about it, about the devastation and the greatest love of her life, and it ain't like she's been dating him for a few weeks. So
it sounds like they've been together for a while. They considered him one of the family and everything, but I just wanted to put out there, though, in case people weren't aware, and pray for her family, pray for her boyfriend's name is Derek, pray for his family. And so, but yeah, I just want to put that out there, how sad I am, but I hope that she comes back to Iowa because she has so much potential,
She's got size, height.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sorry that this year she got off to a bad start and got hurt right away, and she just never recovered after that. Same with Emily Rodriguez. I wouldn't mind her coming back. She's already showed us in a little bit she's played what she's capable of. She just has to be more of a team player, but Emily can create her own shot and get to the rim, so that's what I want to see is more of that. But anyhow, okay. Anyway,
that's a good.
We will get to
segue
women's talk. I'm sorry I got sidetracked.
No, that's a good it was a kind of a sad but a little nice way to lead in segue to the women.
Yeah. All right. Women won what? 26, 27 games? I don't remember.
27-7.
27-7.
Great season.
Yeah,
They had a good season.
was
Nobody
crazy.
expected them to get as far as they got.
I agree.
Nobody expected. If you would have told me at the beginning of the year that they're going to finish number 2 in the Big Ten in the regular season and number 2 behind UCLA in the tournament, I would have said, "What are you drinking?" You know. I honestly thought this was kind of a rebuilding year. I know we had some pieces coming back, but and one of the other things we all thought at the beginning of the year that Addie Deal would be a starter, just pencil her in, and it didn't happen that way. Addie Deal had an up and down year, but I'm glad she's a Hawkeye, and I appreciate. I hope she's planning on returning. I'm pretty sure she loves the Hawkeyes, and so. It'd be great to see her on the floor. She may earn her starting spot finally next year.
She may. She may or may not. It's pretty cool that we had a women's team that finished in the top 8 in the final rankings, and we had a men's team that finished in the top 8 in the tournament. So that don't happen. That's like there's no downers on the basketball court in Iowa this year. So.
Yeah, nobody needs to hang their hat or hang their heads low about each basketball season this year.
No, the basketball season went really well.
That was fun.
It was a fun season. It was a little disappointing that we didn't make the Sweet 16, but what the heck,
double overtime. Yeah, you just ran out of gas, and the shots weren't falling.
Yeah. By the way, how did the Virginia TCU, the team that beat us, Virginia, how did that game come out? I heard they were slightly ahead yesterday.
They hung with TCU pretty close into the final, 10 minutes or something, but then TCU pulled away. Anyway, I can't remember what I was going to say.
I was kind of secretly hoping Virginia would keep that little run going because. You always want to cheer for the team that knocked you out so that when you got knocked out, it looked better.
I'll say something.
Go ahead, Rick.
If you look at the ending of that Virginia game, the stats and stuff and whatever, and how bad Iowa shot and how they were spent once again, like the other teams were. They lost in double overtime. I mean, holy shit. If you made one of those damn shot or free throw along the way, they've been as bad as
I know what
their floor right now is a Sweet 16, possibly.
Yeah,
we don't know.
If Chit Chat makes 2 of 4 on those free throws, Iowa wins the game. But she made 1 of 4.
Yeah,
that was the difference. But Chit Chat's legs were cramping up. I'm surprised, I guess because of the game situation, she was coming out of this game.
Well,
she was going to play through it.
Stremel, 2-10.
Who the hell are you going to put in for Chit Chat? Nobody on the bench. Nobody on the bench other than Journey Houston's really trustworthy.
Yeah, yeah. That came true when which bench players played very little that game. Addie Deal.
Layla Hayes. I don't know if Layla Hayes played a couple minutes, maybe.
Guys, I wouldn't be surprised if Layla Hayes leaves.
I don't think so.
I don't. She probably won't, but I wouldn't be surprised because, she pretty much largely got ignored and but Jan, by not putting her in for Ava at any point during the season most of the time and putting Journey in, was pretty much telling Layla that you're not good enough. But she does praise her up and down. And
Jan was telling Ava Hayden that for the first 3 quarters of the year, her freshman year too.
Yeah,
so I'm sure Ava's telling Layla, "Hey, just keep working. I made it. I was terrible last year." And Monica Zuzano was a nothing as a freshman. I remember what I was going to say. We lost in the second round with a bunch of sophomores.
Mm-hmm.
When Caitlin Clark was a sophomore, we lost in the second round.
Yep.
We
was at that game too.
We didn't tell Caitlin to leave.
No,
No,
So
nope,
but
sure did
but
it.
everybody remembers that Jensen girl who burned Iowa for really bad for that game from Creighton, who used to be from Iowa, who was an Iowa
Yep.
girl, and she only left because she didn't want to play from behind Caitlin. And
Well,
she went out and showed Lisa and the team is hey, look it,
Mhm.
I'm just as good.
you know what?
Yes, she was.
It's like Kirk, anytime anybody wants to leave, it's like people are worrying about some girl on the team this year leaving or something, or some guy leaving, or some football player leaving. You know, I'm sure Ben and Jan and Kirk, I know Kirk tells them right in the news conference, anybody want to leave, don't let the door hit you in the ass.
I love
I
it.
could care less if that Jensen girl left.
Right.
You know, I'll take Caitlin.
Yeah.
So
I second that.
Yeah. But you know what? The fact that Jensen left, we got Molly. We got Molly Davis, and I think Molly Davis was a fine backup to until she got the starting spot.
yeah, we chased a couple girls away to get Molly too. So
Did we really? I did not know that.
Yep.
and Wettering left, and we had this girl named Tujo or Tuwo or something. Her and Kylie Feuerbach were the backups out there on the wings, and that Tuwo or whatever her name was a great athlete, like much like Kylie. You know, could really run and take the ball to the hoop.
So where did these two girls end up?
Wettering we played her at she played graduated at Northern Iowa last
Yeah,
year.
you're not. Yeah.
Oh, so we played against her. Okay. Yeah, I
She was
remember that
another
now.
one. She was one of them gals like Sharon Goodman and Ediger. And she was a tight player like that, not as big as Goodman. And she had an terrible ACL at Iowa that 1 year.
What about the other one you're referring to?
I don't know where she went, Indiana State or something. I don't know. But anyway, we had a good season this year. So
That was fun.
and I'm sure Dean's going to mention that Knies is in the portal.
I was just going to say that, but you took care of that, so I don't have to say it.
No, but it's the only portal news we have so far.
Yeah, I mean, which
everybody
could be good
was
news, which
expecting other ones, but
could be news. I mean, I do know that everybody's expecting Emily to jump in to the portal. She may surprise a few people and stay, but
I have no inside information. Everybody else seems to have it, but I don't.
Yeah,
it's
actual media people that talk to people.
Yeah, whatever. I guess time will tell. I wouldn't be surprised if she left. I wouldn't be surprised if she stayed.
Yeah.
I know one thing.
I'd actually be surprised if she stayed.
If she stays, you know one thing
what's that?
That Jan approves of her.
Yeah.
Because otherwise Jan tell her, like Kirk would tell her, don't let the door hit you in the butt.
Okay. So my question is she couldn't redshirt this year because she actually played games.
Yes, she can.
What makes us think that her back is going to be ready to go this summer?
She can redshirt.
Summer workouts.
Well, she can redshirt, I think, right?
Yeah, she can get a medical. As long as you don't play 8 or 9 basketball games, as long as you have an injury that's actually season ending. She couldn't have came in an NCAA tournament game here at the end of the year or anything.
Okay.
But as long as you, like, if you get an ACL like 7 games into the season, and then you can't play the rest of the year, you can get a red shirt that year. Okay. In football, it's 4 games you can play.
Yep, that's what I thought. I was thinking the 4-game term of football, not basketball.
But they can also play in the bowl games of the playoffs.
It's like Jordan Bohannon that time he signed his shoes at Ames.
That was awesome.
He had hip surgery that year. Right after that game, and he got a red shirt. That's why he was here. He was here 6 years. So.
Yeah, granddad. But it's like, how many former Hawkeyes? I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that question, so I'm going to leave it there. But what are we expecting next year, guys? I mean, are we going to get some portal help? You know, somebody says, actually,
I don't know. if Rick,
who's the guy on 3? I should look that up. And he's got his own little predictions going on there.
who we're getting?
Well, no, who
What we need.
what our
I,
needs are. He's not predicting names, but positions.
The needs for us are quite obvious. We need height. We need length. I mean, UCLA just made us like freaking kids out there. I mean, they're so much bigger, so much stronger, so much faster. I mean, if you want to get to that level, gotta get height, gotta get length.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a fact. Like for Chit Chat, 5'4" getting guarded by a 6'2" guard or a small forward who's as athletic as she is. What do you do? I mean, so first off,
I think Chit Chat held her own considering that.
Yeah,
she's 5'4".
I think so. Yeah, I think so too.
for a 5'4", though, imagine you a 6'2".
She's got some ball handling skills that are very impressive. That could stop a 6'2" girl trying to get her. Chit-Chat can go one way, she goes the opposite way.
But
if
you watch the games, though, Jan plays there as a wing or a 2-guard a lot of the time. Lets Taylor control the. So therefore, now you got a 5'4" wing. You know what I mean? She got a great shot. I prefer her throwing the ball.
I thought she was
ball dominant.
I thought she was one of our top 3 or 4 defensive players. You know,
yeah, she can play some defense.
But as far as what we need,
did you keep them 3 portal people that I was following that I sent you?
Those 2 girls, yeah.
3 of them.
I didn't see a third one.
I sent you 3 of them. One was Cameron. I sent them all right in a row, and I said, "Did you get them?"
I'll have to look at them.
2 of them were mentioned in the one that I sent, and then the other one was one girl. But
the tweeter girl,
yeah,
Lisa Weeder, whatever it was, and then Brueggemann,
and then the other one was Cameron Runner from Molly Davis's school.
That was
I saw that one.
Yeah. Should just be a sophomore next year. The other 2 would be seniors next year.
Yeah, I gotta like that Cameron Runner in that interview. She's talking about Molly Davis coaching her. She goes something about, I get to be coached by Molly freaking Davis.
Yep. And Molly might be the head coach at Iowa someday. She's that smart. So
as far as Weeder goes, I mean, yes, she's Division II, but she's 6 foot. She averages just under 28 points a game, just under 9 rebounds. She goes downhill a lot. She reminds me of a what's her face? The girl played the 4 for Iowa last year before, the blonde.
Bolter.
Yeah, remind me of her a little bit.
Sydney,
only thicker.
Or she might remind you of Kate Martin too. Doesn't she shoot threes good too?
She was just under 40%.
That's goddamn good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Chit Chat's the only one shooting that much, on the team. Her and Stremlo, But
hey, Division II. I mean, Coach Mack came from Division II, so I mean, if a Division II coach can come to the Big Ten and coach, a Division II coach can come to Division I and play.
The on-3 guy said, which now with Knies leaving, can they bring in 4?
I don't know what the rule is. I don't know.
Well, you can have. Is it 13 players on the team for women?
14, yeah, I don't know.
You can't have as many as you can on men.
Okay, so maybe it's 13 then.
It might be 14. I'm not sure, but the on-3 guy said, obviously we need a combo guard that can help out with ball handling. So Chit Chat and Stremlo don't have to play all the time until Addie Deal's trustworthy, and you need a scorer out on the wing, and you need another power forward. Was Brueggemann a power forward? Do you remember?
5'10" point guard.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, she was at 14 points a game, 5 assists. But she played Lindenwood.
I don't think Well, let's go. We'll start. What do you guys think she'll start?
Strong possibility.
Who knows? Who knows?
I don't
Tegan
know.
takes off, maybe not.
She's sure talented enough.
Oh, 100% she is. Oh,
I just want
we
them.
said that like at a deal then, but you know.
I want them, please to move Journey Houston to the wing. Please. That's where she's supposed to play. You know.
I like that. I like that spot. I like her at the 3 a little bit.
She just
maybe pick up some tweeners. You know, a combo 4-5, a combo 3-4, a combo 1-2. But they have needs, but their core is really good. Honestly, their floor, like I said, their floor is almost a Sweet 16. So anything beyond that is once again gravy, as I would say earlier. But as far as who they're going to pick up, I have no idea who they're going to pick up.
And then if they pick up portal people that were juniors this year, a couple of them, that don't ruin their recruiting. You know, if they're recruiting some really good juniors in high school this year, if you get seniors coming in, that leaves those scholarships open for who you're recruiting next year. So
Okay,
we
guys.
get Cam Manya's sister and stuff. So
yeah.
You
Okay.
understand?
All right. I want to go down on this roster breakdown for next year, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. At the point guard, this guy is Kyle Huseman. This was put together by him on 3.
He does a good job. Kyle does a really good job.
Yeah. He says point guard, Chit Chat Wright and Taylor Strimlow. Off guard, Taylor Strimlow, Addie Deal, and has listed Callie Levine as a transfer. Small forward.
possible.
Yeah. I mean, and these are not, he's not saying these people are actually going to transfer or actually be at these positions. This is just his thoughts right now on what he sees. Small forward, Journey Houston and Emily Rodriguez with a question mark. Power forward, McKenna Velisco and Tegan Mullaney out as a transfer. Again, that's with the question mark because he doesn't know anything. And at this point, I don't think Tegan even cares right now to even think about it. Center, Ava and Layla. That is kind of...
That's who's left at the end of the year.
That's how anybody would see it. And when he puts that word transfer there, he doesn't mean that Callie's going to transfer.
No, he doesn't. I'm trying to say that. Yeah.
He means that we could add a transfer there at that position. That's what he means.
Is that what he's trying to say?
Yeah, he says so in his article. He says, I don't know who's leaving, you know. I don't know who's transferring out, but we're going to get some transfers in because we only got one recruit this year, Willitsko, and we had 3 scholarships to give. Or 4, right?
4,
yeah, 4 seniors. You know, he said we have 3 scholarships open to use now, 4 with Knies leaving. So he put transfer in parentheses, or I can't remember what he said. But.
Yeah. Well, so that'd be 5. We have 5 open scholarships with Knies leaving.
4.
We have 4 seniors on the team this year.
We have
I know, but we brought in Willitsko. Willitsko's taken one of them seniors.
Yeah, you're right. What am I thinking? Yeah.
So
you know, with Layla backing up Ava, but you got to think she's, you know, the number 1 player out of Alaska. I mean, for a reason, but again, it's the state of Alaska.
There's no one there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how good the basketball
about
is.
800,000 to 1 million people there in the whole fucking. What is the population of Alaska?
I don't know.
Under 1 million?
You want me to find out?
All I know is she's a 6'5" girl that's hard to find.
Yeah,
you know, if you find a 7'5" guy in Alaska, bring him down for Ben.
Yeah,
you know.
Again,
but anyway, I'll quote Jan. Jan, this is what she says in her news conference. She says, and she's the post whisperer, the greatest post coach ever. She says Layla is the greatest post prospect I've ever recruited.
Yeah.
She just hasn't played competition yet. So next year, Ava might be playing some 4. They might be in the game together.
Yeah.
So
what was the answer there, Dean?
What? Oh, 740,000.
I said 800,000.
Yeah, you said less than $1 million. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So basically,
shoot! I live in Bakersfield, and we have close to that much alone here in Bakersfield.
The one in Metro,
cramped on top of each other.
With that close guess, Uncle Sam, Rick's your name, right, Rick?
Yep, that's me.
With that close guess, Rick, if me and you tie in any of the brackets, I'll give you the victory.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You're gonna
I
give
am the
him
second
that.
one.
Yeah.
Because I don't care about the brackets anyway.
I don't give it. I don't care. Yeah.
I quit looking at the brackets a while ago. I haven't looked at them lately.
Well,
I'm sure I've fallen down the list away.
When I was state lost, you were going to finish way down the line. So
Yes, because they were my national champion.
yeah.
Actually, guys, can I say this? I had a third bracket out there, but it wouldn't let me connect them to the thing. It'd only take 2 of my brackets. And this one, I had Duke winning the national title.
That's who I got.
Not no more.
Well, Duke's not in there anymore. So
Yeah, UConn got them.
that was
UConn
the dumbest ending of a game by Duke I
What
ever
was that
seen.
player doing there? That was kind of crazy.
Well,
Who
he
beat
had
him?
2 guys wide open underneath the basket.
UConn beat
But
them.
all any of the Duke players had to do when they inbounded the ball was just hold on to the ball.
Now I really
And the
don't
game
care.
was over. Yeah.
Darn it. Oh well.
We got a message.
What's up?
Hang on for a second. Okay,
What's
it says,
up?
"What's up, guys?" from Timothy Williams. He's
Price
a
of
regular
gas.
commenter on this show.
I mean, price of gas, diesel fuel, and fertilizer.
Oh, and food too. Sorry.
Mhm.
Let's throw that out there.
But in the
Guys?
last 2 weeks, them 2 things, diesel fuel and farm fertilizer, are both up 70% in 2 weeks because of war. But
All right, guys, tell me, who are the final 4 teams for the women?
Well,
they're the
now it's
number
UConn
1
and
seeds.
UCLA are in there. I'm guessing Texas and South Carolina, like before.
They're the 4 number 1 seeds.
Although
Okay,
Duke is looking tough.
I have UConn. No, I'm sorry. I have UCLA beating UConn in the final.
Yeah, and I got UConn.
I
Let me
thought
say
you had
this.
Texas. I thought you had Texas. Or was that the men?
Who?
Calvin. I thought Calvin. Someone has Texas in the bracket.
I have Arizona in the men, and I have UConn, who's, to me, they're one of the best teams I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I think I have UConn for the women.
Gino would agree.
I don't like him. But yeah.
I don't like. I mean,
But I respect him though.
Yeah, I
He's the
respect
best
hell
coach
out of,
ever.
No,
Yeah.
not for his coaching abilities, but his virtues. He said when he played Iowa, my goal was to beat them by 50 points, and he couldn't do it. He said, if you let up in the 4th quarter at all, I will bench your ass for this game and the next game. All his players do not quit.
Why
I
did he
didn't
want to
like-
beat Iowa by 50? Because he's upset that we beat him in the Final Four a couple years ago?
He
He did. I didn't like it that he said during Caitlin's senior year that Paige was a way better player than her, and Caitlin showed him that she was a better player.
Yeah,
Another
again, I
thing
don't
with
care
Gino
about
that maybe you guys still probably know this, but a girl by the name of Kia Stokes went to UConn
Greg
and actually
Stokes.
wanted. Yeah, Greg Stokes' daughter, and she played at UConn. So, and she won a couple national titles with them.
She sat on the bench for 2 or 3 years,
Two, three,
now she's played in the WNBA probably 8 years. That's how deep UConn is. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you
We
go.
got
Yeah.
another comment.
Yes.
Yep.
Timothy says, I have my sources. The transfer for Iowa women's basketball will be Callie, Tegan, Emily, and of course, Kenise already announced her transfer. Timothy, I hope your sources are wrong because I don't want Callie leaving. I don't want Tegan leaving. I don't want Emily leaving. I want all of them back. Although I would understand if Callie went because, Callie's probably never going to be more than a role player. a few minutes every game. And unfortunately, I hate to see that. But,
everybody can't be a star, Anyway, if all that happens, which I'd say the odds are not that all them people leave, I wouldn't think would be real good. But anyway, I got the Swarm shirt on. You guys better be sending money. Do you know Maddie Greenway got $2 million?
I knew she would get that a lot. I knew it.
She got $2 million. Go to.
That's why she's not at Iowa. She could have got $2 million for Iowa. She'd be here.
Yeah, we pretty much knew the last year we were recruiting her that she didn't want the pressure of being Chad Greenway's daughter at Iowa. But that's what players get. I just said that because I want people to understand what these players cost nowadays. It's like if you want a 7-footer, you better have $3 million for Ben. That's just the way it is. Unless it's Jurok, he ain't gonna cost no $3 million. But if it's a proven 7-footer from Europe or from some other team, you got to have a lot of money nowadays, and that's the way it is.
I still think foreign players who played pro overseas should not be allowed, and that's what Illinois had with most of their pro players yesterday.
I don't know.
I said it. I ain't taking it back.
Yeah.
Jim Madsen, he does down in Peoria for the Illini and stuff, and I listened to what he said, and he was telling Dazzo and somebody else that Illinois scouts, all they want is big guys, overseas big guys. Mm-hmm. That's all that recruit is set to do, or that recruiter or scout is to go overseas, watch those big guys play, and try and get them to commit to Illinois.
Well, I think he earned his money.
Oh, for sure. 100% he did.
All right. Timothy has another comment. Iowa women's basketball has a lot of money to spend in the portal. It's reported that we had a top 5 NIL situation in the country, and our rev share is the cream of the crop.
Our rev share, I know what they get in rev share. It's announced publicly by Beth. They get what is it, 2.5 million or 2.7 million? The same as men's basketball is what you get in the rev share. There's 21 million, and the football teams gets 3/4 of it, which is about 15 million. Because you got to pay. Listen, you got to pay 85 football players. Basketball, you only got to pay 13 people. It'd be stupid to give basketball, and then football pays for everything.
Right.
I say,
but the real thing in NIL is you don't need to talk about rev share. That don't matter. That's the same every place. What you got to talk about is what we raise away from how much money is Caitlin giving Jan. How much money is Dean giving? Is I'm giving? Everybody's donating. Hopefully, some rich people are donating. But
I can see some new donors after what the women did in the tournament, and actually what the men did in the tournament as well.
The men is where it's really cooking.
Yeah. Yep.
They said Beth was working the seats and the donors in the first 2 games in the NCAA tournament, especially after the second game, and she was working it at the Elite 8 games too. So in the Sweet 16. So I'm sure that money has flowed in, but I'm not telling people not to send money in, because people sit around and they always think, what do they think, Dean? Somebody else can do it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then if somebody else don't do it,
right.
we should have helped a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Timothy says he asked a question. Didn't Sue Beckwith donate a bunch to the women's basketball program? I don't even know who Sue Beckwith is.
Sue Beckwith is what pays Jan's 1 point something million. She's the doctor.
Oh,
She's
okay.
like
Okay.
the Moon family. A lot of the coaches' salaries at Iowa are, I can't remember, endowed. The Moon family that owns the I-80 truck stop pays Kirk's parents $7 million a year every
I
year.
heard a little bit of that. Okay.
And there ain't no hearing about it. It's public knowledge. And then the Sue Beckwith, Jan's title isn't head coach at the University of Iowa. She's the Sue Beckwith women's basketball coach. And that Sue Beckwith is like a famous surgeon or something in Iowa at the university or something. And but whether she gives money to NIL too, I don't know. But
Yeah.
that's where you hear her name all the time.
Okay.
9 million.
Yeah. You guys, this has
Wow.
been a great discussion, but I'm going to step aside for a minute. You guys continue it. I don't care where you take the discussion, anywhere you want to. We're just kind of recapping the season, so wherever you want to go, but I'll be back in a minute.
Hey, Rick, wave.
See you
Bye.
later. Where you going?
Anything you want to talk about there, Uncle Sam or Kyle?
You got some football news, or do you want to wait for Dean?
Oh
to get
yeah.
back?
Yeah, I do. You know?
All right,
We
fire away.
Yeah, we got the recruiting's rolling there. It was rolling long before the men made this run in the basketball tournament. Some guy was arguing with me today when we got that commitment. We got a commitment from a top defensive back in Chicago, Mr. Ties. He spells his name Theis. He runs a 4.40. You know, he'll take Lutmer's spot someday, probably. He's from Fenwick in Chicago. And anyway, he's be our fourth commit with Cooper DeJean's brother, the tight end. And then the two linebackers, Stecker from Bettendorf here.
Yeah, that kid's a stud.
And then Bingham from out western Iowa. And then we're going to get another commit, the Bloom kid, who's like a hybrid. He'll take Vanderzee's spot. He's from Woodbine, Iowa.
Where is that? Where is that at?
I don't know, but when I was a kid, Debbie Esser was the best basketball player in the state, the girl basketball player from Esterville. And I think she won 12 track titles running track in high school.
Jeez.
Back in the mid 70s. And Woodbine would be in western Iowa, I'd presume. Maybe southwestern Iowa, but don't quote me. I'm just guessing. And anyway, he'll come to Iowa. And they got a bunch of guys. The guy today, I like his name because he's a defensive end. And he goes to Linwood West Lyon, which is that's where LeVar Woods went to high school, and all them great football players like Trev Alberts that went to Nebraska and stuff back in the day where they played. And he's a defensive end, and Iowa offered him. He visited practice today, and they offered him. He's going to come to Iowa, I think. His uncles all played at Iowa State. He's real close to LeVar Woods, but LeVar Woods, we don't like him anymore because he wears green, you know? But do you know the secret? I wonder if Dean or anybody can guess the secret of why I know he's coming to Iowa. His family are all Iowa State people. LeVar Woods is a local guy. Why do you think?
You're talking to the kid about that's at Central Lyon, right? Or West Lyon? You're talking about the kid that's at Central Lyon?
Yeah, his name's Noblock. I like his last name. It's Noblock. I think it's because nobody can block him. He's like a 6'6" defensive end and very fast. I better just tell you why he's coming to Iowa. Why I know he's coming to Iowa. His sister is Reese Vanderzee's longtime girlfriend.
All right.
So that's why I think he's coming to
Alright.
Iowa, and they offered him today. So, and there's plenty of other guys they got lined up, offensive linemen, Reardon's brother, the defensive lineman from Chicago area and stuff. And we're going to have a really good, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of recruiting scholarships this year because we only have 13 seniors. And so we talked about football a little bit, Dean.
Yeah,
What we
that was part of my stuff. Iowa football is also the front runner for the number 2 QB in the country, according to Tim Williams.
Yep. He's going to come to Iowa. So
I think on the couple online stuff I saw highlights of the practice, guys are looking good spinning the ball. I can tell you that.
Well, here's what I saw when I saw some film. Which one is number 9? Is that Hidlinski or Brown?
Yeah.
Brown was in the Brown is number 9 and Heklinski's 10.
10,
okay.
yeah.
Number 9 threw a perfect interception for a pick 6. I forgot to who.
Buffington had 2 pick 6s in the videos I shared today.
Okay. Yeah. I hadn't had a chance. I've been busy all day. We went out house shopping today.
Yeah. I love seeing the true freshman from Florida who I'm so high on, Stinson, number 6. I had to look up who number 6 was, and here it was my guy Stinson catching a long pass from Heklinski.
I thought
and then
number 6?
And then the other long pass in the end zone was to number 1 KJ Parker. And then another long pass, a diving catch, was number 14, which is our big JUCO transfer guy, Diaz.
I'm excited. When I talked to Nolan DeLong this past year, that's what he said. He goes, I'm excited for Diaz. He goes, this kid is fast. He can catch the ball. He can fly. Nolan is very, very high on him.
Who is Nolan, by the way?
Nolan DeLong, the guy I know about from
He's
Durant.
from Durant.
Yeah.
A walk-on from Durant, number 31.
31.
Okay.
Is a very, very good football player.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm embarrassed that I don't know every name on our team yet.
I'll have to learn it at the spring game with Calvin. So Calvin will tell me about, who's this guy? Okay, write it down.
I sent my ink copy on paper to
I got confused. I'm sorry.
Rick's when I die, Rick's gonna take my place and keep that. He'll probably do it on a spreadsheet he'll do it on a spreadsheet on a computer every time. Like
right
here, when this Ties kid from Fenwick, when he committed, I wrote him down on the sheet. As he's a recruit. He ain't a freshman that's being redshirted this year. He's not a redshirt freshman. He's not a sophomore. He's not a junior. He's not a senior. He's an incoming recruit that isn't on the team yet, but I write him down,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But Rick's going to do that for you guys for the rest of his life. So
Eternity.
Even whenever a kid walks on, I have a walk-on list.
All right. Okay, so Tim Williams says, I told one of my friends after Iowa basketball made the run to the elite, football has to get to the college football playoffs. That would be my number 1 goal.
They will.
We almost did last year.
I think
France
will do it.
We almost do almost every year, now that it's to that. You know how close we came to beating Indiana? How close we came to beating Oregon and USC.
And USC.
And then a team.
If we could have had the 3 more wins that are 9, we'd have been a 12-0 team for regular season.
Yeah, well, we lost. Yeah, that damn lucky bounce that Iowa State had. But then the other thing,
I forgot about that one. Never mind.
we got a women's team that finished ranked number 7. We got a men's basketball team that finished in the lead 8. Our wrestlers were finished 4th, which is okay. But
they're predicted 7.
Our men football team who had all them close games with all these real good teams. I mean, Oregon and Indiana are 2 of the top 3-4 teams in the country. And we beat them. We almost beat them. And then a team that I thought was going to go to the college playoffs, we go play them in a bowl game, Vanderbilt, and we pretty much kicked them up and down the field.
That was awesome.
So don't tell me that Iowa football's disappointing.
Yeah.
No,
all right.
not
Eric
at all.
B says that they'll be there this year with this schedule. It's a tough schedule, man. Those 3 games that start the Big Ten are about as tough as you're ever going to get.
Ohio State, right?
Yeah. We have Ohio State at home, Michigan on the road, and Minnesota on the road. No, I'm sorry. Washington on the road, and then Minnesota on the road.
But
that's a
those
tough
3
start.
games, them 3 games, Washington's ranked 14th right now. Michigan's ranked like 13th. And that's on the road. Them are on the road. And then Ohio State's probably going to be first, second, or third. I would say first or second.
Yeah, well, they got early rankings out already.
They have preseason stuff already out. Everybody knows Ohio State has one of the top 3 rosters in the country.
I know.
Ohio State's got 3 guys that are going to be drafted in the top 7 guys in the NFL draft.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I was just saying that Kyle and I were talking beforehand, before we went on, before everybody joined us, that maybe Michigan, if get them this year while they're, before they get settled in with their new coach and everything.
I think we'll try to get them all, but if we only lose one of them 3 games, if we only lose 2 of them 3 games, we'll go to the playoffs. I don't think, I ain't afraid. We'll go down to Illinois at the end of the season and play Pat Bowman, and we'll kick his rear end.
Outside of those first 3 games in the Big Ten, we run through the West after that. We don't have any other team but the West teams after that. 6 games. We should go 6-0 through those games. Don't you guys think? Or not?
You never know, but with injuries or something. But
Illinois is a riser. I mean, Illinois could be a little problem.
Toss up.
I mean, yeah, that's my little like a trap game.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest.
So who else they got? So you got Illinois toss up. Who else?
I don't think Illinois is a toss up because Illinois has got to replace their best quarterback they've had in a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dean's right. We'll be favored in all the games after those first three Big Ten games.
Yeah, but I mean Minnesota. I mean, I know we kicked their butt this year, but that's usually a close game.
We kick their butt every year. PJ's won 1 game against us, and that was because of the referees. So
yeah, the referees handled that one.
Who is Illinois replacing?
Next thing you're going to tell me is you're afraid of Nebraska. You say that every year.
I am, because I keep thinking Nebraska's going to finally rise to the occasion. But after a million years of thumping those guys, I'm beginning to think Nebraska's never going to rise up to the occasion.
Rick's got something to say.
Who is Illinois replacing, you said?
The quarterback.
Who's Iowa replacing?
Or quarterback.
I mean, what's the difference?
Yeah, I get it.
We're Iowa. We don't need a quarterback.
My thing
we just need we need a game facilitator who can run the ball.
Again, Illinois has beaten us. They're like Minnesota. They've beaten us like once in the last probably 17 years.
The thing is with Michigan, with Kyle Willingham coming in from Utah, he's kind of got a lot of fair similarities to the way he coaches.
What is Bielema's record against Iowa?
He's won one game.
One game, but I don't know how many.
We just don't play Illinois. I don't know why we don't play Illinois every year. To me, it's a big rival.
I agree. Yeah, that's a rival, not Nebraska.
When we were still the West, we played them every year in the West.
I know, but Bielema didn't get here till 5 years ago or whatever.
Right.
When he was here, Wisconsin kicked our ass.
Yeah.
Everybody else's ass too.
He's a good coach. Good coach.
Honestly, guys, I still think BB during his years at Wisconsin was feeding off of what Alvarez left him because he ran the exact same stuff Alvarez did. And Alvarez was still his AD. And so he was still the AD. And I still think he had his big old thumb on that program, which is why I think BB walked away from Wisconsin because he was tired. He wanted to be his own man. He wanted to make his own decisions. And I think Alvarez had a big thumb on him.
Bielema went to Arkansas for the same reason Matty Greenway went to Kentucky.
Money?
It was called. He wanted a big pay raise. He told Barry Alvarez, "Arkansas is going to give me $8 million a year," and Barry said, "Bye." Yeah, Barry said, "Bye." You know.
Right. Mm-hmm. My favorite Brett Bielema moment was when one of the commentators was like, "So, what do you have on your right calf? I heard you have a tattoo of something." And he goes, "Yeah, no comment."
Yeah, the whole Iowa team got those tattoos for a bowl game.
Yep.
Matt Sherman, I think, has that tattoo too. So,
who was the Cyclone coach he went off on?
Guys, continue the discussion. I'll be right back.
What'd you say, Rick?
Who was the Cyclone coach he went off on at midfield that one year?
Jim Walden.
Yeah, that's right.
What year
it was his senior year, and he
let him have
the game was over, and he went up to shake Walden's hand, and he goes, "I'd like to thank you for making me want to kick your ass every year."
What year was that, may I ask?
Oh, it would have been about 95.
A long time ago.
That's
something like that.
Funny. That's awesome.
Bielema was a walk-on.
Okay.
From Prophetstown, Illinois. Grew up on a hog farm.
Yep.
And he's a great Hawkeye. He loves the Hawkeyes.
Yes, he does. Super nice. Super nice guy.
Loves Kirk Ferentz. So.
Yeah, he even mentioned that too. He goes, I learned a lot when I was at Iowa, and the current Iowa team.
He was just a grad assistant at Iowa when Kirk was hired.
Yep.
And him and another guy were living in a trailer together. They didn't make any money. And he told his mom, he says, "I guess I got to come home because I don't know why he would hire me as a coach, Couldn't be you can only be a grad assistant for like 1 or 2 years, and then you got to get a real job. That's a rule."
Yeah.
Sense.
Right.
And it's like Molly Davis this year got a real job at Evansville. But anyway, he called home and he was just shocked. Kirk gave him a great big raise and hired him as an assistant defensive line coach, I think.
Yeah.
Dean ain't back yet.
No.
I don't know.
But so just letting you guys know, when my mom had a traumatic brain injury, 2017, and so this year would be 9 years, and she's doing a lot better, But I can remember that Ohio State game when we beat them 56-27 or something like that. I can remember where I was. And I got to meet one of the ladies that resuscitated my mom at the U of I. So one of the girls out of the helicopter saved her life. And I was at a bar watching that game. Well, I was like, I need a jersey. So hopefully I get that here in a week or two. So I'll have to show you guys pictures of it. So.
What jersey are you getting?
The one where we beat Ohio State in 2017. The different colored one with a number and
we were in our black.
That was the one with the gray. It was black.
Right.
And yeah. So I'm gonna get one of them jerseys with the number 17 and for the year and then my last name on it. So I wanted to share that with you guys. So yeah. Pretty excited for that.
Wow. I ordered I sent Swarm some money this week. And then the Nil store came up with the new Jersey Houston T-shirts. I ordered a couple of them to help
I like
Journey.
the Chit Chat one. That was cool.
I got a Chit Chat and a Journey.
Okay.
I got the one that said "Shoot that chit,"
That's awesome.
and then I got the Journey one that says it says Houston.
We have a
You
problem.
have a problem.
Yeah, I saw
You
that
have a
one. That was
problem.
cool. That one was
That's
really
in the
cool.
old Apollo space flights for Apollo 13, but
That's awesome.
yeah,
I'm
I
waiting
wanted
till like
to,
the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8 shirts to kind of die down a little bit. So, but yeah, I'm excited to go to the spring game with Calvin, and
I hope it works out.
we're good because my daughter would be at my future wife's bridal shower. So you and I
I
are
know
good.
that. I'm talking about that I feel okay. And
Yeah. If you feel okay,
everything.
cool, Rick. I can meet you somewhere and
Mhm.
we can go. But I got to make sure because I got another DeLong jersey, but this one I'm going to get it autographed by him. So we have to make sure I find Nolan and have him sign it.
What I wear would depend on how hot it is. So
Right.
So,
But you said I should be the reporter, so I got to take a notebook and
what
like
you
we were
want
talking
to do?
about.
What you want to do is write down the numbers when the first team's out there and the second team, and you don't have to look it up then. But when you get home, look up who every one of them guys was.
Right.
I know a bunch of the numbers.
Exactly.
But
What are the rules on tech at the spring game?
you can hold your phone up and
So I have glasses and
videotape.
cameras and stuff. All right, cool.
Hey, you can
Right.
videotape.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And everything. But
Gotta be
it's
allowed
not
to
a
do
game. It's not a game. It's just a
Right.
practice.
Just to
Right.
practice.
I think I was the only school in the entire country that don't play a game.
Yeah.
I watched the Nebraska game yesterday, spring
Yeah, I saw a
game.
little bit too. One of the last play of the game. Well, next to last play of the game.
Yeah. I didn't watch the whole thing, so I don't know what you're talking about. But
Nebraska running back scored a touchdown. They were down 17-16. The what's it called?
Red, white, right?
One of the
Wasn't it?
colors
Or
was
something?
down. Every color, and he was touchdown at the end of the game. Nice
Right.
play. It was.
yeah, and all the football players at Nebraska after the spring game, they do the same damn thing every year. They got up the podium and they go, "We're going to have the best defense in the entire nation this year." It's like, Jesus. Just shut up.
I like
You
how
know?
all these teams like to run their mouth. And what does Iowa do? We sit back, we be quiet, and we do our talking on the field or on the court. I
know what Kirk's going to say after spring game. Guys, we got a lot of work to do.
We got a lot of work to do. He always says that every year. I love it. I love it.
Parker, he's going to say, we look like shit.
Yep.
But Nebraska, we got the best defense in the nation after their first spring game.
Right. Let them run your mouth. Dude, you're hitting your own players for crying out loud.
Okay. I'm going to answer this question where Paul and Jason are. Paul and Jason, for health reasons, are both taking a break from the podcast. I'm going to guess that it'll be a while. Paul just told us yesterday he's anxious to get back.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be on, but
yeah,
I thought he said he was going to be on or something. But
he said he's anxious to get back, but he's got to go through surgery first.
Right.
Not until after surgery.
That thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And Jason too. It's just too much for his health to be on this podcast. But I think he's getting ready to start his own. So keep an eye out for that. And Eric says prayers to them. Thank you.
When you don't feel good, some of this being on podcasts and being on the live messenger during games can really make you.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Can really make you sick,
Yeah.
Yeah, I took some time off and
You're feeling good, huh?
I'm feeling a lot better than I did. So basically, starting about the 10th of March, just didn't. It was kind of up and down, and then I get to work, and I'm working, and I am just drenched in sweat. Just couldn't catch my breath a little bit. Come to think of it, I was working with 101.8 fever.
That's not
What?
good.
Shouldn't you be dead at 108?
Or sorry, 101.8.
Yeah,
And
Okay.
so I got home. Andrea's like, you need to take your temperature. So I did, and it was 101.8. So I was like, okay, well, you got to be 24 hours fever free. And I'm like, crap, okay. So went to urgent care. They said, oh, you got a viral infection. I'm like, okay. So my thing is, all right, just kind of take it easy. And then I usually get something during like the spring because of the allergies and everything. Well, to come to think of it, I had a little part of influenza B. Didn't have a clue what it was, you know. So I was like, all right, we got some over-the-counter stuff. My future mother-in-law. So I've been feeling a lot better. So sorry I haven't been on, and I wanted to sound like Calvin said. I wanted to sound my best. I didn't want to sound all stuffy and nasally, and you know.
Yeah.
You don't want to sound terrible like that Fisher does all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Boy is back.
I
He
can't-
says, Boss Hog is back. Oh, wonder if he's talking about one of you guys.
Wasn't
boss
done to me.
hog. Well, you're
Boss.
boss on here.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe he meant I came back because I disappeared for a few minutes.
Let's see. Any other Hawkeye news? Anybody know any other Hawkeye news?
Okay.
Ben's got a new contract. Be up this week. Kirk Ferentz news conference Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
We got to watch the transfer portal for about till the 21st.
I was just going to ask that. When is the stoppage of the?
I think it's the 21st. It's different for
April?
some, like wrestling's got their window's like a week earlier or something. You know,
Yeah.
but
I have a wrestling question dealing with Ben Keeter. What is going on with him?
They say he had surgery and he almost died.
I read that. I was just seeing what you guys know about it, and
Yeah. Other than what I read there, I don't know anything about it.
what was the
My
cause
sis-
of that?
my sister had something. Her heart didn't stop or anything like he did, but they couldn't hardly get her woke up. They gave her too much of the anesthetic.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that could be, something like that. I had to, when they took my eye out, I had a rookie person give me my anesthetic, and to be totally honest with you, I had a hard time coming out of it. It was so bad, and my breathing, my oxygen levels were down. They were going to keep me overnight in the hospital instead of sending me home, but I made some promises to a nurse so that she could go home.
We got a long message. We got a long message there.
Yeah. Okay. Tim Williams says, watch out for Alyssa Latham from Tennessee in the portal for Iowa. Iowa has been in contact with her. Coach Boogie Barrett recruited her previously, and she's a really good player. She's a grad transfer, though.
1 year.
Is that what we call Coach Barrett? Boogie?
I don't know.
Is that some
Lysandra,
inside information?
is it Lysandra?
Yeah.
Yep. She's a great recruiter, and she's one of them three girls, Brugman, was it Cameron, whatever her name was at Evansville, and then the girl from Division II. All of them were the reason we knew Iowa was talking to him, was that she was following them. Coach Barrett was following them on X. That's how you track it. You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't do Twitter, so.
So does anybody
Well,
know
yeah.
anything about this Tennessee player with 1 year left? Is she a power forward? Did anybody catch her name? Like, I know my Uncle Sam there could look it up real quick with the
I
computer.
know I can. What was the name again?
Alyssa Latham.
Alyssa Latham. I think
Yeah.
I've heard of her.
Eric, what do you know about her?
her?
Oh no, I'm sorry, Eric, not Eric, because Eric didn't bring it up. Tim, what do you know about her that you can tell us more about? Eric says you're pretty much legally dead under anesthesia. It's crazy how it works and how highly trained they have to be to administer it correctly.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Your
Because you don't remember
organ-
anything. You don't dream or anything.
depends on what kind of how much anesthetic you get, but pretty much your organs go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know.
She's
So.
a tweener.
Yeah, but I knew I was in trouble when they were getting my eye out when this nurse or whoever done the anesthesia, she was getting out her calculator and thinking, "Oh my God, I got to do no. Well, maybe I should try it." And I just wanted to say, "Do you got this?" And she says, "Yeah, I just have to figure out my dosage."
So Rick, did you look up Latham for Tennessee?
Yeah. She's a 6'2" junior.
Sweet.
Forward.
But she's going to be a senior next year.
Right.
What's her stats look like?
She averaged 5 points a game, 3.4 rebounds, half an assist, shot 54%. So she's not bad. Just not a lot of playing time.
She shoot any threes?
That's what I'm trying to find right now. Hang on here. Here we go.
I thought Tim said she was a grad transfer.
She made one out of like about 2-3 out of about 20.
Oh, okay.
She plays a 4-5 position and can stretch the floor. She's really known for rebounding and defense, according to Tim.
February 12th against Missouri, she had 15 points, 5 rebounds, shot 7 of 10, field goals.
She had 12 against Alabama.
Yeah, so apparently she can score a little bit, and that was during SEC play too.
Does she just not play a lot?
She can score once in a while.
Mm-hmm. but I mean, 15. I was like the highest I've seen in a game.
Yeah.
So
okay, our Andy Deal can score once in a while too.
So can Alvaro Fulgaris. And
can't score every game though.
Right.
No.
It still hurts, guys.
Larry Bird can do that.
It still hurts. It just kind of reminds me of Tom Davis's year when we almost made the Final Four after we blew a 17-point lead.
The difference in that one and this one, that year we were like Illinois and Michigan. We had the NBA team.
Yeah, we did.
we have the Division II team this year with Ben. So
yeah,
right.
Okay. Tim says that Alyssa was not a good fit for Tennessee, and they were a terrible team.
Well, the coach gave them hell. I mean,
I remember playing Tennessee last year. They pressed the hell out of us.
Yeah.
Yep,
Wait a minute.
30 turnovers.
Is the Tennessee coach the one that went off on his players and basically threw them under the bus?
Yeah. So
and some of them quit. And some of them quit during the season.
One did.
Wow.
So, you can't do that. I mean,
is this the lady that took over Pat Summitt, or was that way after Pat Summitt, or was there another coach?
I thought it was a man.
This is several coaches after.
Okay. But you got to think when Pat Summitt, when she was coaching, man, she was one hell of a coach. I got a couple of books from her, and man, some of her stuff is unbelievable.
So I got a question. That. Okay, Tennessee has never really been the same since Pat Summitt left. When Gino, whatever his name is, leaves UConn, will they also take a free fall for a while?
Well, they probably won't be as good, but I think that they might hire like the Vanderbilt coach. Was the Vanderbilt coach a UConn person?
Yeah.
I know there's some good coaches at other colleges that are UConn people. They'll hire somebody like that.
Yeah. And with Tennessee, what Dean was referring to, after they had Candace Parker, and Tennessee just kind of hasn't been the SEC team, to be honest.
No,
that's all been now
that
up
goes to South Carolina,
exactly.
LSU.
What's this message saying now?
Okay, Tim says Kelly Harper. This confuses me, and you guys will know why here in a minute. Kelly Harper took over for Summitt. Kim Codwell took over after Pat Summitt.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, it's saying both of them took over after.
Well, both of them did.
Okay. Kim Codwell after Harper. He just corrected himself.
it's like saying John Adams took over for George Washington, and Ronald Reagan did also, even though there was 200 years difference.
Now he meant that Kim Caldwell took over for Kelly Harper.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
figured that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I figured, but I was confused. So, guys, my timer thing is on my thing is just doing something crazy tonight. I have no
Want to
idea
hear a crazy
why.
stat?
What?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, here you go. So Taylor McCabe played 542 minutes this year, right?
Okay.
Both Addie Deal and Journey Houston scored more points and played less minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Journey
Taylor was pretty much hit 3-pointer. She didn't score much. But.
Yeah. She averaged about 9 points a game when she got hurt.
I don't know. She scored 161 points. Journey at 185 and Addie at 173.
Wow. But you know what? Had Taylor McCabe not gone down, she would have finished with more points than both of those guys.
Well, yeah.
But just straight minutes played, though. They both outplayed.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right.
Right.
Kind of crazy stat.
Yeah, that's insane.
Well, Journey had some really great games this year, and so did Addie Deal. She just didn't have a lot of them, but she did show flashes.
She had 7 or 8.
Journey in probably 90% or more of her games had a good game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she had maybe 1 or 2 where she, and it just surprised the hell out of me. You know, but
not me, because I've seen her in high school and I know what she could do. I'm like,
well,
okay, this kid.
I watched their games down here, and it's like out of the last 2 years, she played probably about half a year.
Yeah,
you know,
and which sucks. But again, but the thing is, she has confidence in herself. She knows that she can play with anybody on the floor.
Yeah. What's crazy is and I know that Kelvin will back me up on this, is all summer long, we were in preseason, they were interviewing Addie Deal and Layla Hayes. Never once did I see an interview until Media Day with Journey Houston, and that Media Day guy was your
Dazzo.
Quad City guy.
Yeah, Dazzo, yeah.
Yeah. He's the only one that interviewed her. And so I kind of had this. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, this girl's never going to see the light of day. She'll probably be more like Clenice Johnson and not get much playing time. And Calvin said, no, you're wrong. She'll play more than Callie Levine. And I said, no way. No way.
I heard that preseason thing you did with that Doc guy. And you guys said that Callie was a 7th or 8th player, you know, in the rotation or something, and I knew Journey was way better skill wise. You know, Journey in high school shot close 40% from 3. You know, and she'll do the same thing if they ever let her play out there. Right. You know, this year it just wasn't. They had to have somebody play that 4 when behind Hannah.
And I agree with Calvin.
I knew that was. And if Callie would just develop a shot, you know, because she's a good athlete, and she plays really hard, you know. But
So Eric B makes a comment. I want you guys to comment on his comment. He says that Hannah Stokey just never had that competitive fire consistently. What say you guys?
That's ridiculous. She's a warrior.
Yes, she is a warrior.
She had competitive fire when she was a freshman. 6th player of the year in the Big Ten as a freshman. Let me tell you something about this is Hannah Stokey, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's who he's talking about? Yeah. She ended up 10th in the history of Iowa in rebounding. She tied with Kasheen Alexander at 910. If she wouldn't have got injured this year, she'd have been higher, you know, and she ended up with 1,592 points. And there's only like 5 players that have had that many points and that many rebounds, both.
Does he
Yeah.
mean she's not very demonstrative consistently? As far as
I don't know.
barking
She
out
was-
orders?
I'm not sure what he meant. He just
She
said
was always she
never
was
had the
always a
competitive
ferocious-
fire competition.
She was always ferocious,
Yeah.
you know.
She had
Is-
I
quiet
like
moments
that
too.
fiery attitude. I love that
Yeah.
competitiveness.
All right. Boy says, what I say, what goes up must come down. Okay, and then here's another comment by Tim.
Hope he's talking
this
about the
is-
price of gas.
I hope so too. This is really Jan's first full off season. No coaching changes, and she has the cornerstone set in place. Now she
Yeah.
can fully commit to focusing on portal and recruiting.
She's solid.
Okay, Jan said
Duh.
after the Virginia game that she's looking for shooters and people who can create shots for themselves. She's in a go mode this offseason. She has a lot of money to work with within the portal. That's good news to hear. But we have Emily who can create a shot. We just got to convince her to stay and then play her.
If Jan wants her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. We don't know if Jan wants her or not.
I don't know you hear all these rumors. I don't know the story.
I don't either.
Yeah, I
Nobody
don't-
knows. Nobody knows the true story. What's going on there?
It should be.
No. And all I know is if she stays, everything's all right. You know?
Mhm.
Because Jan's the one that controls who's on her team. You know, so
And she's not shy about it.
No, and I like the way, like everybody was predicting, this year was like, everybody's like, oh, they're all young and everything. I'm like, yeah. Jan thought, the same thing. Like, okay, we got a kind of a young team a little bit besides the 3 or 4 seniors. And then they said next year would be the promising year that, we would be a lot better than this year's team.
Mhm.
the thing that surprised me most about this team, I thought we were going to be an extremely deep team.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
Yeah.
Addie Deal was going to be a decent player. I thought Journey would be okay. Layla would be okay, as a freshman, and I know we lost McCabe 2/3 of the way through the season, but I thought we ended up being, Journey was the only person you're against a really good team that you wanted to bring off the bench,
Right.
when you only
My
got
thought-
6 players. Ooh.
Right. My thought after Taylor went down, I was like, oh, geez, here we go again. Someone, one of our star players goes down. It's hard to, get somebody back up. Hey, but Jan's got that mentality like Ben does and like Coach Ferentz does. Next person up, next in line. I love
Yeah, the
that.
thing was, Stremlo stepped up
Yes,
and
she
played
did.
great.
She's got a nice shot.
It's just that Jan thought Addie'd be the one, I guess.
No, Stremlo's like, F you. I'm going to take this.
She
I'm
had
gonna take
Addie
over.
start 2 or 3 games in a row,
I knew it.
Yeah.
I told you guys, I said, Addie is more coming off the bench. I think she has more confidence coming off the bench. And
Yeah,
we started Stremlo, and what happened with that?
I remember
Yeah.
my
I think-
comment at the time. I told Dean, I think it was on this podcast, I said, I don't like it.
Same.
That's too much pressure. Addie, we're going to California to play 2 games where she's from, and that's too much pressure.
Oh,
And I
100%.
think it was.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Go ahead,
Addie
Rick.
fell apart against UCLA and USC, right? Well, so
Yep.
was Stremlo. She fell apart against UCLA.
Everybody did.
I'm saying, so, I mean, you're not really getting
Yeah.
I
serious
hate-
here.
The thing is with Iowa, and when I looked up those stats for football, man, our stats going to the West Coast sucks. Like it's just we struggle at the West Coast teams.
I just didn't think it was
Ugh.
good. I didn't think it was good that such a young player had that stress on him.
Oh, 100%.
Going home and playing against USC, who was a good team, not a great team, but it's on the road at USC in your home area, and then UCLA, the best team in the Big Ten, hands down.
My guess
I
is-
just didn't think that was very good for a young player.
My guess
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
that Jensen thought she caught lightning in a bottle because
Yeah.
guys come out with a hot game at Ohio State with 20 points. Hey,
Yeah.
we may have something here, and unfortunately,
Yeah. She didn't have
Right.
time to think about it when McCabe went down, but then when she learned she was
Right.
going to start, she had a lot of time to think about it. Okay, Tim says, I heard during the exit meeting with Emily, they asked Emily if she needed help entering the portal. Okay, just these are comments from people. These are not words I'm saying. Eric says, overall, great. He's talking about Hannah. Just some games seemed lackadaisical. Free throws were certainly not consistent. Great player overall, tough. Don't get me wrong. My son has a photo of her with her too. I want to say that, yeah, her free throws at the end of the year weren't very well because she hurt her elbow and that affected her free throws.
Yeah. What did she
I
shoot
know.
overall free throw? Was it like 50-some%?
Jan said that if she'd have hurt her elbow in January, the way it
They
was
wouldn't
hurt,
They wouldn't
she
have played
wouldn't
her.
have played for 2 or 3
Right.
weeks. You know.
Right.
Go ahead, Rick.
I owe
Okay, wait a
Hannah an
minute.
apology.
What's that?
Go ahead. You read.
Oh, wait, let me read this last one and then we'll come back to you. Okay. Boy says, we don't know if Erod's a good fit for Iowa yet. And then question mark. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I would say I owe Hannah an apology. When I was at that game when she hurt her elbow, and from my
Mhm.
side of the court, I thought she just fell down and that was it, right? Nothing big,
Yeah.
nothing major. I saw this
Mhm.
today, the other side. Holy crap, her elbow went snap backwards. And I've been there before. I broke my elbow doing that. It sucks. So
And her
yeah,
elbow's bent the opposite direction it was supposed to.
yep.
That don't work with an elbow. It's like bending your knee backwards.
Timothy
Right.
also says if Iowa women basketball treated every team like they were Michigan, we would probably be playing South Carolina tomorrow. That's who we should be playing because we were seeded number 2.
Yeah.
That's who we should be playing.
You're down to 5 players playing 50 minutes for the game, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Ain't going far.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Michigan
have my
must have been
opinion.
Michigan must have been just a good matchup for us. You know,
Yeah.
I don't.
We were expending a lot of energy though at the end of the season, especially Kylie and Hannah. They were really playing their asses off.
Yeah.
I
do have my personal opinions
It's a
about.
lot easier to physically dominate Michigan than it is 6'7" Lauren Betts and all them big players for UCLA. You know.
Well, nobody's going to beat UCLA. Nobody in the Big Ten did. So,
No.
leave it at that. I mean, we just happened to get hammered by 50 points, and everybody said that ever since that game we weren't the same. We weren't the same
But
team.
even before that, we were starting to have a little struggle here and there against Illinois. Our shooting was not the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
Even against Michigan, we only scored like 54 points ourselves.
Yeah.
Like exactly lining it up.
Yeah, it's just our team struggled, but they were finding ways to win.
Well, defense was shutting people
And that
down.
may have gone into their thinking, like, "Hey, guys, we've been battle tested, and we can win these games." And so, against Virginia, they just weren't able to pull it out, and they had opportunities at the end of regulation, at the end of overtime. You know, they had opportunities to win the game.
Oh, for sure. They had chances to win in regulation.
Even the last shot the Strimel hit where it bounced around and stuff and bounced out. Yeah, I mean
they had plenty of shots in regulation. And one of the keys I always think in basketball games is making your free throws. They count.
Yep.
And you miss those free throws, that's missed points off the scoreboard.
Yeah. Oh, Tim Williams got a crazy stat. I never saw this one.
Oh yeah.
Iowa shot 83 shots versus Virginia. Virginia shot 63 shots, and we lost.
But they made their shots when it counted. We did not.
Right.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
I mean,
all we needed was one more point.
Yep. Okay. Hackwell says best defense in decades for both men and women. I don't disagree, Jason.
I
Jason,
agree 100%.
I agree. Yeah. There's no you can't deny that at all. You know, neither team was known for playing defense and scoring in the 80s.
The thing is so optimistic is the defense played by Ben's team with not great talent.
Undersized. And undersized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what to me is so optimistic you know, the roster, the way he got the team to play with the roster, you know. So
I see a lot of in both of the teams loyalty, sticking with who they got and everything. How the guys just all stuck together. How the women all stuck together.
Mm-hmm.
That's
what
team
that's
right
what I
there.
like. Yeah, that's the coolest thing is the bond that they've got. You know, which
Yes.
is why when somebody leaves, it's got to be hard to see them leave, or they just never fit in the bond. You know, they never bonded well with the others.
Right. And you gotta, you know, during the off season, you gotta hit the gym, and those guys are seeing each other almost every day. So they're connecting one-on-one, but then as a team, you get closer and closer. The bigger the bond, the better the team you have, the better chemistry you have on and off the court. So, and it's the same with football. Football, your loyalty. Like, listen to the washed up walk-ons and all those interviews. I love hearing how these guys that played at Iowa were like, yeah, we're family. We're Iowa through and through.
and they tell you that, like washed up walk-ons, they tell you the truth about the coaches,
Exactly. I love it.
not all this negative innuendo all the
Right.
time.
I love it.
And it's like, get the real story and quit
Yeah.
guessing.
Yeah,
you know?
Tyler, like, yeah, he goes, yeah, just be honest. You know, he goes, I don't care what you say on here. You go, just be honest with me. You know, he goes, I played there. You know, I love it. I love those interviews.
Yeah. Boy says, well, I thought Iowa was overrated at number 2. They didn't have the killer instinct, and it showed. Okay, that's Boy's opinion. That's Boy's opinion.
You got tired. You got tired legs, and you couldn't shoot the second half.
Yeah. Eric says Ben is an overachieving coach. Give him some talent and look out.
I love it.
I believe his talent is on the way.
We're so lucky that he loves Iowa. He's a lifetime Iowa guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Normally, he'd be like, we get a guy like Ralph Miller or Lute Olson.
And they go.
They were great coaches, but they didn't want to live in the cold. You know, they didn't grow up as Iowa through and through. We got a guy that's Iowa through and through. He don't care about North Carolina. You know, he don't care about Kansas. You know,
that's all I heard this weekend when I was out dashing. I had the local sports station on, and it's Westwood One network. There is one local show on it, but that doesn't have anything to do with it. I forgot where I was going with this.
They're probably talking about the North Carolina. They're probably talking about the North Carolina job all the time.
They were talking about how North Carolina is going to throw everything, including the kitchen sink and everything else, to get Ben.
Yeah.
My opinion is if North Carolina's got any brains, they'll hire Billy Donovan from the Chicago Bulls, because he was a great college coach. You know, it'd be like getting John Calipari or something. You know,
look how many teams at Florida he was at to give them to the national title, and you know,
Boy, this Timothy guy, he's really turning into our stat guy, much like Rick was when he was commenting on our show all the time.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah. Another stat, Ava Hayden shot 64% from the floor, but she only shot 53% from the left side of the floor.
Yeah. She only in that Virginia game, if she wouldn't have sat for 10 minutes because of having 2 stupid fouls at the start of the game, and then she only shot 11 out of 22, which she usually shoots close to 70%. She had an off. She should have scored literally 50 points. You know, if she wouldn't have gotten foul trouble, and if she'd have scored like she normally does, you know.
And give Virginia credit, they had some good bigs. They're the leading shot blocking team in the nation.
They do. They had a front line of 3 big girls, not 2.
Yep.
And they were leading the nation in shot blocking, but still, you know, if Ava wouldn't have gotten foul trouble, we'd have won by 15 points easy. You know,
it changed the game.
I mean, Eric also says, "Where's all that ethanol money to throw at players? Is the ethanol money supposed to be earmarked for NIL type stuff? I don't know. You guys are there in
For
Iowa. You
Iowa-
tell me.
For Iowa,
Maybe the
for
farmers.
Iowa State, probably. Most ethanol plants in Iowa are owned by farmers.
Yeah.
They're like cooperatives where the farmers have
Mhm.
bought stock in it.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. Iowa State is
the
They
problem
don't
in
sell
Iowa,
ethanol here in California.
yeah, most of the people, most of the money in the in Iowa is in the hands of agriculture. And nobody goes to the University of Iowa to learn how to farm. They go to MooU out at Ames. So
Moo you.
that's what we called them in high school.
Yeah. Tim Williams again. Boy, he's really come up with some great stuff tonight to add to the show.
Cool.
Thank you, Tim. Kasheen
Mhm.
Alexander has to explain to Jan Jensen critics that she completely overachieved with this roster. And I did say that on the day
That's
after the
no-brainer.
note. Yeah. And she was right on the money. We should not have been to a 2 seed
We
at
shouldn't
all in the Big Ten or the NCAA tournament. But we did. I keep saying we earned it.
We earned it, though.
We earned it.
They earned
We
it.
earned it.
Exactly. They earned that 2 seed.
They did it. You know, you can't, and they lost a couple games like the Minnesota game where Minnesota was just luckier than hell hitting shots, you know.
Mhm.
But what was I going to say? I don't know. I know what I was going to say. Before the season, I was hoping we'd have a team that would make it into the top 20 or top 25 in that area. You know, 20th to 25th. That's where I kind of had them. I thought they'd finish 5th or 6th in the Big Ten. You know, and here you can't take it away from them. We earned it, like Dean said.
Damn right we earned it.
Yeah. They earned it by how they played all year. So So you can't say, "Oh, hey, you know, Jan's overachieving with you guys, and even though you guys won this many games, we're going to make you a number 4 seed."
Yeah, there was things that went into it.
Second in the Big Ten.
There was things that went into it, like Maryland having all them injuries. Maryland would have had a hell of a team, you know. But who the hell in the Big Ten had any big people that could play with us other than UCLA? Were we gonna trade Ava Hayden and Hannah Stolke for any other interior duo in other than maybe UCLA or something?
Yeah, and don't forget Journey as part of that rotation there.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, you know, Hannah was as good a power forward as there was. She's a top 10 power forward in the country.
Yeah.
A lot of teams don't have a power forward anymore. They play with 4 guards. You know, the Booker girl at Texas is the best power forward in the country.
Oh, she's a hell of a player.
But you can't find a real good power forward anyplace. That's why Hannah was listed as one of the award winners as a power forward this year. And Ava Hayden obviously was a very good post player.
Will Velisco be our power forward player going for the next 4 years?
Most likely.
Probably.
She needs to.
This
she needs
smells
to
good.
put
You
on
gotta
a.
smell this candle.
Yeah.
We should have smell-o-vision, you know.
What is it?
But we'll
it's
run
a scented candle.
Well, what's the scent?
We'll run a different system with Wolitsko in there, because Wolitsko can go out to the corner and just knock down a 3. You know, it'll be more of the Kate Martin type offense.
Yeah. Tim says the special thing about Jan is that she has the ability to make people believe. I would run through a wall for her. She's so encouraging. She puts our girls in the best position to succeed. And then we got Hollingsworth here. Juan Hollingsworth, it looks like. And his only comment was, sounds like excuses to me. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what he's referring to. So, Juan, if you could come on there and explain what you think are excuses.
Excuses why we had such good seasons?
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. But the thing is, I was listening to some podcasts, and these ESPN guys were like, "Oh yeah, the ACC is so good, and the ACC is so good." I go, "Okay, think about this: the last 3 national titles, where'd they come from? The Big Ten. 6 Big Ten schools were in the Sweet 16. How many SEC schools? Less
You
than
talking
that.
about foot?
How many
You talking about?
ACC
You
schools?
talking about football?
Just like
In sports in
everything
general.
like combined.
The Big Ten men,
Yeah, the college
Big
sports.
Big Ten men's basketball hadn't won a national championship in
No.
6 years, probably.
But in college football and then combining with the NCAA tournament, the last 3 national titles have come from the Big Ten. And then
Just the
Big
last
10
3,
in
the last 3 football championships,
football
yeah.
championships. Yeah. And then
But
now
not basketball.
no, but
In men
now
or women.
right,
Would UConn win it last year? The men? Or no, Florida did. I'm sorry.
Florida did. UConn won it before.
Slap me silly. I should know that.
So
I think Tom Izzo won the national championship way back when Mateen
2000.
Cleave.
Yeah, but Team Cleaves, Morris Peterson, they had a hell of a
maybe
team
Iowa State that year.
Yeah. Which
Maybe
Iowa
they-
State
Isn't
had
it amazing?
Pfizer and Tinsley and
Yeah.
Jamal
Isn't it
Tinsley.
amazing how Izzo is this great coach, and and he's got Michigan State where he's got them, and he managed to get them 1 championship. I don't think he got them more than 1, right?
No.
I don't know. I don't know if he has 1 or 2, but
I think he just has 1.
I don't know. But
How many Big Ten championships does he have?
A lot.
He probably had a lot.
That's
lot.
what I thought.
he's
Exactly.
the all-time winner as a Big Ten coach. He passed Bobby Knight this year. But
Yeah, I saw
if
the
he
video
ever,
clips
if
of
he ever
everybody.
retires, Matt Painter will go flying by him. But
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really like Matt Painter. I like
My God, guys, I was watching that video clip of the former players and coaches and stuff. Congratulating him on his victories. And I got to tell you, when you look at some of the pictures of him as a young man compared to now, you look at him now and you think that guy hasn't changed at all over the years. And then you look at him early in his career. Oh my God, that guy has changed a lot. He looks so much different.
he looks just like old Ray Meyer of DePaul now. Not the best looking guy in the world, but anyway.
Yeah. So guys, we've
He
been
has
on
1.
for well over 2 hours.
Okay.
2 hours and
Izzo
15
has
minutes
1
to be
national
exact.
championship, 8 Final Fours.
wow.
What'd you say?
Wow.
Izzo has 1 national championship and 8 Final Fours.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Eric says, Eric says, is Beth Getz on a long-term contract? If not, she needs to be yesterday. Oh, here's the thing I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
I think this was also on a national news, and I don't know if that's maybe I heard it somewhere else. That if Gary Barta was still our AD, we would still have Fran as our coach, and we probably wouldn't have made the tournament this year. And Brian Ferentz would still be our offensive coordinator. What do you guys think of that comment?
I don't believe that.
Mm-mm. No, Barta would have done something about it.
Barta was not that bad of an athletic
No,
director. People just love to hate him.
Mhm.
It's like hiring Fran was a good hire, and Fran got fired because of donors quit giving money and people quit coming to games.
Yeah.
Literally 5 years ago, 5 and 6 years ago, or 4 and 5 years ago. I mean, he had like a 2 seed and a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Mhm.
He had Garza's 2020 year or 2021, whatever it was, and then the next year, Keegan and them won the Big Ten tournament.
Right.
And they were very well favored going into the NCAA tournament, both of them teams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think what most people are concerned was
the president of the University of Iowa fired Brian Ferentz because it had to be done,
Yeah. All righty.
Or else someone was going to do something about it.
Yeah. Okay. Tim has another one. A Big Ten women's basketball team hasn't won a title since 1998 when Stephanie White and Purdue won. Brenda Fries won one title with Maryland, but Maryland wasn't a Big Ten member at the time.
Yeah, the ACC.
Stephanie White was a player. Was it player or
She
a
was a
coach
good
at
player,
Purdue?
dude.
At Purdue.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Wow.
What year? What on?
I was going to
98?
say
Okay.
1998 or something.
She
But,
was so good. Her entire town sponsored her to play basketball.
Really?
She was
Oh,
that
wow.
good. They,
I did not
yeah,
know
her
that.
mom was poor and stuff. And this thing, no, this girl is good. You're going to college. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. Yeah, they backed her up the whole way through.
Yeah. So Stephanie
Brenda-
White's the current
Brenda-
coach of the Fever, right? Stephanie White's
Yeah.
the coach of the Fever
Yeah.
right now. Okay.
Lynn Dunn
Actually-
Lynn Dunn was her coach at Purdue. You know, and I think Brenda Fries had an awful good team at Minnesota too. I know they got to the Final Four, probably didn't win the national championship, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Okay. Alrighty. One more final thing. Boy says the fan base got spoiled. Were we spoiled or not, guys?
Yeah.
Were we spoiled?
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Given
I don't know
lot
either.
this year, it was plentiful.
What I-
Harvest was.
What I love is just, I ain't kidding you. They brought it up on Facebook today of all the people that hated, I mean, literally a year ago hated, and 2 years ago hated Beth Getz.
Okay. Boy
And they were
talks about
they were bringing these posts up today, and I asked because this guy that was on there, his name was Zach Mitchell, and he was
I know
bothering
who
me.
I know who he is.
He was bothering me on Messenger and on Facebook, like trolling me. And I asked Jason or somebody, who the hell is that? He was using a fake name. They put up his post about Beth Getz. And they go,
Yeah.
where the hell is this Zach Mitchell guy now? You know, so
He's still posting, but not under the fake name. And I know who he is. He's actually in our group chat. He just doesn't chat anymore. Okay.
I think I know who he is too. But
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
me.
Boy says that we got spoiled with Fran, is what he's saying. Okay. Hack says, did you guys see the UConn Duke finish? I didn't because we were right here.
oh
right?
yeah. Yep.
You guys probably have your TVs right there. I don't have a way to watch
No, I
TV.
don't.
but-
Duke ahead by 2, inbounding the ball with like 4 or 5 seconds left. They inbound the ball, pass it to one guy, pass it to another guy, and Boozer, they're all American. There's 2 guys wide open under the basket. So he goes up to throw the ball to the other end. The UConn guy goes up and tips it to himself. He shoots a 3-pointer at the buzzer.
I'll have to
Oh
watch
my
that
God.
tomorrow morning when I wake
Oh
up
my
at
God.
3:30 for work, and I'll have to watch Sports Center and check it out.
But the thing I mentioned on 3 thread this week, we were talking about history and some of these young people. Why was Tom Davis fired? And I go, he was fired for the same reason Fran was.
Yep.
When Ricky Davis was a freshman, they had a team that went 18-10 and went 9-9 and went to the NIT. And in the NIT tournament at home at Carver against Georgia, there was like 3,500 people there. And Bowlesby and the donors were not happy. Like, what is happening to our arena? And that's when Bowlesby told him, you can stay one more year if you want to, but I'm not giving you a new your contract's up.
And you gotta think, Carver, one of the biggest arenas in the Big Ten, and probably in the country. So
it's good size, but it was the same thing. The fans were fed up with, sure, we'd win a first round game if we got the NCAA tournament, but it was the same thing. People don't realize it,
Hey, Calvin, was it the same thing with Todd Licklider and why he left too?
Well, Licklider couldn't win a game.
Didn't win any games.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd go. What would he go, like 5-22 or something?
When Matt Gaines was on that team, Matt goes, God damn it! He goes, man, we were He goes, we sucked that one year. I go, yeah, didn't you win like 5 games? He goes, yeah. He goes, practice those, like all those losses. He goes, it sucked. So
we got another
bad.
comment or something? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Timothy says, my take on UCLA women's basketball. They're the best team I've ever seen, and they don't have they don't have anyone who can create off the bounce. They're also not a big physical team, and Duke just wasn't big enough. Boy says to me, blessings to my health. Okay, guys. I think it's time to wrap it up. I would like to wrap this up for the night, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, 3 o'clock comes early for me.
Yeah.
Hurry up before we get another comment.
Guys, I appreciate everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button right in front of you. Share this out, leave some comments, and we'll have fun with it. And we appreciate each and every one of you who participated tonight. And I look forward to you guys' comments each show. So thank you. We're going to go out and go Hawks. And the next thing we'll talk about will be spring football. What day, we don't know yet.
And the transfer portal.
There you go.